Let's see if it fires up. Mute that. And it says offline. Oh, I gotta hit play. Advertisement. Does this show an advertisement on everybody's page?
Yeah, it always starts with an advertisement.
Oh, okay.
No matter what. Even when you start your own up.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how they make their money.
Call of Duty. Okay.
Yeah. You just came live.
It did? Oh, it didn't come live on mine.
Yeah, well, you just.
That's weird.
Is that because you're watching it? Is it delay?
Oh, it usually still shows right away when I've done it in the past.
Well, I just got your email.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me close that. I'll just try one more thing. So I guess we can get started then. So yeah, so if anybody is going to watch, I don't know if they'll catch the beginning, but this is the 888 tournaments I played the other night. Finished 8th place, so me and Rob are going to go over some of the hands. So I'll ask you, Rob, do you want me to just kind of like when a hand like this, that they're obvious, you want me to just skip through them?
Yeah, do whatever you want. I'll just give you some of my stuff. We can do this together like we normally do.
I just, like I say, I know I'm obviously going to fold the 9-5 there, so there's no sense waiting around to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
This might not be as obvious. I might have called here. Yep. Which I don't know. Do you think that's bad?
I would not call that.
No.
Not from that position. No.
See,
from the big blind with a limper and then a re-raise, I would just give.
No, it was
especially at this.
It was a min raise and then a caller, 2 callers.
Yeah. Right. But with a 9-5 suited.
Yep.
At this stage of the tournament, even what are you looking to hit here? A flush, right?
Yeah, flusher. Yeah, that's the best. I mean, a full house would be nice. But yeah, you're right. Mostly the flush.
He's a flush, and if you hit your flush, it's going to be kind of a weak flush, isn't it?
Yep.
So you could hit that and throw your tournament away right out the beginning.
Okay, would you do it? Would you do it with heads up, or are you saying that just in general?
I might do it heads up, but there's too many people in here to put that money in. Yeah, heads up, yes.
Okay.
But in the big blind, heads up, yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's the like I think that does make a difference, right? I just haven't usually played it. I haven't been playing it like it makes a difference, but yeah, it's a heads up would probably be a better spot to call it, which might sound backwards, right?
Right.
Because you're getting not as good. You're not getting as good pot odds, but you only have one opponent.
Right.
Okay. So I did call it, and I guess I can't ask you what I do, but I check. I mean, this is a check fold hand now. I think.
That's yes.
Again, I guess I was trying to flop the world, right? If I didn't flop big, then we're just being done with the hand.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so here's a spot where I used to get myself in trouble. Like maybe not with King Jack offsuit, but with one razor, I used to think, okay, should I be calling here? But I don't think this is ever a call. But I think it can be a raise if there was one.
If you're going to play it, you have to raise it. You have to isolate one of these guys out of there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you get the initial better to fold, so you know that Ford's got a weaker hand. Right?
Right, but what I'm saying is like if there was one of these guys, like say this guy didn't raise, say it was this guy that raised, then I might think about 3-betting here.
Yeah.
But because there's 2, I don't really think I want to squeeze with King Jack offsuit.
Okay. Well, I understand that thought process, but what if you change the word from squeeze, and what if you said that you wanted to isolate one of them? Instead of squeezing, you want to, because right now, And I'll be honest with you, right now, I think that King Jack from the small blind is a three betting hand. You don't agree with that? You got a good blocker with your king, right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess that's part of my thing. I guess if you're, so you're saying like raise it to isolate or raise it to steal?
Well, I would guess that one of these guys is going to stay in there, right?
Right.
And what's his face there? What is it? Spring? I can't. First guy in there.
Swing, yeah.
He's got chips that you could get from him. So I would say no, not as a steal, is that you want his chips now, and I think that you've got a hand that could get chips.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm being too I'm thinking would want to be suited here to be thinking about it, but yeah, I see your point. I think I'm gonna fold here.
Well,
I'm assuming.
I understand your thought process, Dennis, on the suited, but right now in the small blind, where it's not. I mean, the raise and the call are not very big.
Right.
You could three bet that. Yeah, you could three bet that and go from there.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, it's funny because like some of the hands that I'm thinking to be too tight to three bet. Like I'm thinking in my brain too tightly where I could just, like you say, go for the three bet here. Because like you're just talking about the blocker potential and everything, right?
Right.
And I fold it. I just want to see what they come up with now. I guess I can just check to the end. I didn't end up showing. And this should be a fold, right? Yeah.
Yes.
2-6, that's a fold. This might be a little more interesting. Okay, what about here? What would you do?
And there's no action to us?
No, it's folded to us.
That's an easy, that in my opinion, that's the easy 3x race.
Well, I think that's again, say 3x, is that your cash game?
Yes.
Okay, because for me it's 2.5x every time.
Yeah, then it's your standard raise.
Yeah. So but when you say 3x, you're just meaning your standard raise, right?
Yeah, that's the 3x my standard raise. Yes. Okay.
So we did go for my standard raise, and we get a call. I'm assuming he's going to check here, and again, easy bet. I'm going to go 2/3 because it's a wet, because there's the flush draw and straight draws.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to bet a bit bigger. Not almost 2/3, or that might be exactly 2/3. And we pick it. Cool, easy hand.
But it was easy hand because you played it right.
Yep, and this should be the same open.
Yep.
Okay, what about this board? Would you bet it?
I would. Well, he's checking to our strength, so I would definitely c-bet that.
Yeah, especially, yeah. I mean, I don't see any reason not to at all. And again, just half pot because it's a drier board.
Right.
And another easy hand. It's hard. Like, I know everybody, you should have a c-bet range of 65%. Alex says is a really strong range. But I find mine is always a lot higher. It's always look at 82%. Over 7,000 hands. But I think in the lower stakes, when you're playing lower stakes, it works better than higher stakes.
Yes, because Alex told me the same thing, that I should be in the 65, and I'm at 83%.
Yeah, I have a hard time finding a reason ever when I'm in position to check.
So do I. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm in position and it's check to me, and of course I'm going to try to take the lead.
Right. What What are you thinking on this hand? Again, folded to us.
All right.
This is a little more interesting spot.
Correct. And this is something that I've been working on personally with my suited connectors. And Brett, this is a one gapper, but close enough to me. So where it is, how I would play this is where it's folded to us, that I would open this with normal strong hand with your 2x raise. I would open this.
Okay. I think same thing most times. I would like the suited gapper. We can open here. The only reason I might not open here is because we just opened the last two hands.
Okay.
You know, but
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, you know, if I can open three hands in a row, I'd rather the third hand be the strong hand, you know?
Strong 3, yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with opening here otherwise. I didn't, but... And I don't know if that's why.
And I think that 5-6 or 4-6 is really at the bottom of my range.
Yes.
For playing that in the cutoff. But I still, if it's checked around me, and that's what I've been working on right now, is my suited connectors.
Yeah. So that's that, but that's why I'm saying, like, that's definitely the bottom. So I'm okay with folding the bottom of it, right?
Yep.
If I'm gonna fold, okay. So what about here?
It's a fold for me.
Yeah, me too. Always. Better be. Yeah. Just making a tweet here that we're studying.
There you go.
There, okay. So 10-6, that's a fold, yeah. 7-4, that's going to be a fold.
Tweet.
Pardon me?
I just got your tweet.
Oh, yeah, lost my cursor again. What's happening? 7-5, yeah, it's a fold. Oh, we got a couple people on. Who's here? Oh, two of them will be us.
Have you been able to figure out how to view it?
What, sorry?
Have you been able to figure out to see who's viewing?
No.
Yeah,
that's why I just always ask in the chat, say who's watching, see if anybody will say. 2-6, that's going to be another fold. Let's fold. Whoever it is that came on, if you guys are wondering, this is just from 888 the other night, a tournament I was playing, or a couple tournaments we're just reviewing. I finished 8th, so I said to Rob, let's go over the hands. See if there's any spots could play better. This is, I don't know, I don't typically go over tournaments. That's how I started out doing hand reviews. I just reviewed a whole tournament, so it can have some merit to see if you can find spots you messed up on. Anyway, Rob, what do you think here?
This is one of the hands that, this is a killer hand.
Yeah. Which way?
So, that both.
Yeah.
It's either or.
Yeah.
And I normally in a cash game, in this position, I would give up on this hand.
Suited?
Yep.
I think. I mean, it depends on your table. I guess, and I'm not going to say that I haven't done that. Sometimes I do fold it, but early on, like we're deep enough that I think you need to open it. But like you say, if you know that it's a 3-bet heavy table, then yeah, I could see, or there's someone with position on us that we don't want to be getting into hands with, then I can definitely see folding this hand. I don't think there's a right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think you can make arguments for both.
Right, but my thought of that, Dennis,
Yeah.
is solely when I play a hand like this.
Yep.
And I go through my mind of whether or not I should play. Actually, the two cards are one of the last things I ask myself: are the cards good enough to play? And we're so far out of position that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people behind us now. If we open this, and you'd open it with your standard, right? 2x,
2.5, yeah.
2.x, yeah. And if we get re-raised, if we get 3-bet on that, what the hell are you going to do?
Well, this is exactly what just happened.
Okay.
So, what am I going to do? I'm gonna fold. He almost definitely folding now. But he almost
Yeah,
4 times raised me, so I was already folding. But now this guy made it an easy fold, right?
right. Now, as stupid as it sounds, I saved $200 or 200 chips. You spent them,
Yeah.
and mine with positional fold. That's what I was trying to get at. Mine, that's a positional fold. You hear you hear sometimes some of these say, "Oh, that's a positional raise." Well, that's the opposite in my thought.
No,
That's a
I
positional
understand. Yep.
fold.
Yep. No, I definitely understand. King Queen offsuit, I would have dumped it for sure. Um,
Right.
but King Queen suited, especially early in, that's what I say. I just want to see where I'm at. And you look at it; these guys here, they raised me off the best hand, but it's
Yeah,
still,
you would have
you know,
missed.
but tough to play out of position.
Well, it's tough to call that all in with that hand too.
Yep. Here's a hard hand to play. What do you do here? Should I fold? Easy call, right?
Yeah. And he shoved, so you got money on it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
5-9. There's a fold under the gun. And that's going to be a fold.
Yeah.
Would you open this?
I would not, because that's way too far.
Yeah, it's just too far, right?
That's way too low.
Just typing it to someone here and they're watching us. Telling them to make sure they ask us questions or point out our mistakes.
What mistakes?
Well, yeah. No, but I mean, the whole point of us doing the study, why we're streaming, we want other people interacting too, right? Otherwise, we could just do this on our own. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure people know.
I was joking.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. Would have been a nice flop with the 4-2 of clubs too.
I know.
This 10-3. This should be a fold, I'm guessing. Yep. 3x. 3.2x. Oh, hang on. My computer's going to try and restart. I got to stop that from happening. Try tomorrow. There. Okay, where are we at? So here's the spot. This is something where was getting myself in trouble. I was completing this.
Well, at least you learned that, because there's no reason to complete that.
Right, but I was looking at it, I'm getting 8.6 to 1 odds, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is you hit a queen or you hit a 3 or something and just get yourself in trouble, right?
You're right. You're only going to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, if you hit your queen, you would have got screwed on that.
Yeah. Again, these no-brainers I'm just skipping by.
So you've been doing okay in the last couple of weeks in your tournaments, though.
Yeah, it's been going well. And it's funny, every time I seem to, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but every time I do something like one-on-one with Alex, it seems like all of a sudden I have a bunch of results because I got some new motivation in some key spots.
Yeah.
And just with our studying we've been doing and being a little more accountable with people,
Yeah.
It's helping.
Well, I both agree that it helps me too.
Yeah. Yeah, even though you're like playing cash and I'm playing tournaments, it still helps, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This is going to be my least favorite hand.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is one of the hands that gets me in trouble a lot.
So what would you do here? This guy is opening. Oh, we only played 8 hands, but he's open. He's raised 4 out of 8 hands he's played, but I 3-bet here religiously.
My answer to you was going to be that now I'd raise that.
Yeah.
But now I'm finding out that when I'm running, I'm getting in a lot of trouble by doing that.
From raising it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because when we miss this flop, now what do we do?
Well, exactly.
And that's where
But the point is what do you mean by miss it though?
Well, where technically I'm three betting him to get him to fold. That would be my safety blanket, right?
Yeah.
And if he flat calls us and then I miss that flop, it is an overcard or two. Now where do I put him?
Well, and that's I mean, it's never going to be easy, right?
So I mean, now we miss the flop. There's one or two overcards. He leads into us. I have a hard time myself. I have a hard time, and I know what the right thing to do is, but I have a hard time folding that. And then here's the other thing where I'm jamming myself up and giving your opinion on it. So now if we miss the flop and he checks, we see bet, and he just flats our seat bet. Now I don't have no idea where I am.
Well, and that's why we got. I think, but that's I think originally why we three bet. Here, I'll show you. Let's go through this. So let's see if anybody raised me. We get a call. Okay, he shoves. Now there's part of why we did it, right? He didn't shove. So what does he have now? He raised it. He gets three bet and a call, and now he re-raises almost 3x. So So what kind of hand would do that?
Well, so now we got to put him on his four bet range, right?
Yep.
4 bet range. So it's going to be, it would be, in my opinion, it would be jacks or above. Jacks to aces, right?
Yep.
Ace king, both suited and non-suited.
Yep.
And maybe ace queen suited.
Yep. And maybe tens, but let's take that out now since we already have two of the we already have tens.
And I would have given him tens if we didn't have them. Yes, we know them. I mean, it's pretty rare that he would right now.
Yeah. Now, it comes down to again, like Alex says, from his calculations, like I try not to call over a 2.5x, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is probably a spot where now I got to shove or fold.
Right.
Is the smart play here. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Because this is one we can do in Card Runner ZB.
Right. Is 10-10? Do you feel that pocket tens is worth it to shove?
I think I should have shoved instead of calling. I don't know why I called here. I think that was silly to call.
Yeah.
But now this guy shoves. And now no matter what, I pretty much have to call because I put over half my chips in the pot. So I should have shoved or folded, but instead I made the mistake of making myself like I could have played the hand more profitably by shoving, right?
Yeah.
Now taking that away from myself. This guy goes, and I say, "What the hell?" And I'm assuming I must have won this hand, unless this is. Oh, ace 10, straight versus ace king. So this is one of the tournaments I busted up. Yeah, I had the best hand pre-flop, so I should have played it like I had the best hand pre-flop or folded, right? If I had shoved instead of calling it, I don't know. Maybe this guy's still calling. It's hard to say, right? I've only ever played.
I think that maybe ace 10 might, but that ace king's going to stay in there.
Yeah, but I mean, at least I would have played the hand profitably instead of playing it sheepishly, right?
Yeah.
And so when I raise, I 3-bet. When he 4-bet, I should have either jammed or folded.
Right.
And jam is probably the right play, better, more likely.
But as right when this hand started out, that's what I said. That 10-10 is where I'm getting myself screwed because now where am I?
No, I know. Have you ever looked at this? I just want to. I don't know how well you can see these numbers, but here's something why I hate 10-10. So. Let's see, pocket pair below middle. Let's just say we have pocket aces, and you look at it like pocket aces is an overpair 88% of the time, right?
Yep.
So it's a strong hand. When you have kings, 67%. That's how much weaker kings are than aces. Right. They're a lot weaker than aces, right?
Right.
You get the pocket pair below top pair 20% of the time with pocket kings. So, and then when you go to queens, It's all of a sudden the overpair goes from 67 to 50% and from 20 to 34% with pocket pair below top pair. Jacks goes down overpair only 36% of the time, 42% of the time you're getting a pocket pair below top pair. You're a weak pair 10% of the time when pocket jacks flops. Once the flop comes. And then you go to tens. You're only ever going to be an overpair 25% of the time. Pocket pair below top pair 44% of the time. So almost half the time the flop comes, there's going to be an overcard.
Right.
18% of the time you're going to have a weak pair. So I don't think a lot of people have ever looked at the numbers like this, but tens is great. Jacks are great until the flop comes.
Well, that's just it. Your comment you just made, Dennis, is exactly right. Is that people don't understand. They look at tens and jacks as their strong hand. And actually, if you really want to look at it, I bet you jacks is not much different than eights or nines, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that strong a hand, and that it can get you in a shitload of trouble. And it's in the last week or so, it's been getting me in trouble.
Right.
Both tens and jacks, because I don't have an issue playing them strong pre-flop, but then I get lost post-flop.
Right.
Big time.
Well, yeah, so that's something I try to keep in mind more often than I used to about those pairs. But that's why I think we got to play them strong. It's kind of like ace king. Ace king is a strong hand, but it's not. Like same thing. Right. Once the flop comes, so that's why we got to learn how to play them better after the flop, no matter what kind of flop comes.
Right.
Because I mean, we can't start folding pocket tens.
Well, I agree, except for now when we get into the same situation that we had here, is that when it's going to cost you your tournament life or your stack life.
Right.
That is it. So if we get 4-bet, now do we fold pocket tens?
I did some calculations the other night, and you might be surprised. Actually, let's do this right now. So let's set the stacks. We're just going to make up some stacks, but let's say that... let's go big blind versus say we're under the gun +2. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Let's say the blinds are, just we'll keep it simple, 1,000 and 2,000. So the ante would be what? 200. Let's say there's 1,800 in the middle. Okay, so that's the blinds. Now let's set our stacks to 50,000. Okay. And we'll flip this around both ways. So first of all, under the gun, we're under the gun. And let's say we raise 2.5x, right? So that'd be 2,500.
Yeah.
Okay. And with pocket tens. This really blew me away when I did this the other day.
So you already looked at this, what I'm complaining about, huh?
What's that?
You've already looked at what I'm complaining about.
Yeah. I gotta undo that. I just want to give you an idea. Like it's a play that I actually folded. Because I folded a 40 big blind stack. I raised 2.5x with ace king and it folded around, and the guy shoved all in and I folded. And then going back looking, I should have played the hand. Why is that saying call? I don't want call. I want raise.
Well, that's very interesting to hear. This card run is unique, then it's a good program to.
Oh, I've got too many people in the hand. That's why. Shoot, hang on. I gotta start over. Take the button out. Okay, now he's out. Sorry about that. But when you start looking at the math and you think, man, like we're folding hands that we should be calling even though we don't think we should. You know what I mean?
You need another, you need another zero down.
Okay. Okay, so under the gun. Whoops. With pocket tens, we raise. Now, what we did too is I don't want to mix up. Let's just get this done first. So let's say this guy goes all in. And we're going to call or fold with tens. Now, what do you think a guy might shove all in here with 50 big blinds?
Well,
From the now he's in the big blind, so he's going to have it's not a totally crazy play because he's eliminating the position issue, right?
right.
But here, like, is this range too big? Like, that's 10%. Do you want me to narrow it?
I would, yes. I would get rid of the sixes and sevens and my queen jack suited plus. So queen jack, king jack, and ace jack, and then leave the rest.
Oh, I got
And
something. I got to move my. Oh, I spelled your name wrong. Thanks, Laban. I wasn't paying attention. I remember that they can't see that. Is that better? Rob Gagliardi. I feel bad I just spelled your name wrong. It was because I hit enter too quick.
I didn't pay attention there, but
Is that better? Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so I'm sorry. So we had this range. I'm sorry. Did you say we should take some hands out of it, or?
yes, I would take sixes and sevens out.
Okay. I want it to be tighter than we'd think, right? So let's even take ace jack suited out, jack 10 suited, queen jack suited.
Yeah, and king jack and ace jack.
Ace jack suited? Okay, let's go that crazy tight, okay?
Yep.
6.7%. And we're going to call. Now let's see. Do you think it's going to be profitable or not profitable to call here?
I would think that it's not profitable to call.
It is profitable by almost 3 big blinds.
Really?
Yeah.
With that tight?
With that tight of a range, it's still 3 big blinds profit.
Really?
Which if you're folding you're just like you're printing money to make this call, basically.
Right.
But I mean, now you're going to get this hand happen, right? Where you're going to get beat, but this is the long term. Like, you can't be folding pocket tens there. It's actually more profitable to call those tens there than it is to shove them. We did a calculation, me and a friend, my buddy Angelo, and he said to me, because I shoved with 20 big, this was with 20 big blinds, pocket tens. I shoved all in. He says, I think you gave up value there. So we ran it, and it was profitable to shove it all in, but it was way more profitable to raise and then call it all in.
Really?
Yeah, even against a super tight range.
That's very interesting.
Now we can even do this.
If that range was wider,
It's even more.
It very could be.
Which is why I do it with a really tight range, because if it works against a tight range, right?
Yeah.
Ace king offsuit. If we did it with ace king offsuit, it's twice as profitable, more than twice. 6.6 big blinds with ace king offsuit to make that call, to make that raise call.
Oh.
So anytime you're in this spot with tens or ace king and anything better, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's profitable to raise call.
Wow. That's very. I will tell you that I'm surprised, but it also makes me feel a little bit better on my play.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's something we got to keep in mind moving forward.
Obviously, variance comes to play with any of this.
Yep.
But I would, being lost, like I said, with king at 10-10 or jack-jack, and I would play that strong as. So I would lose money like you did, but I would have ended up playing it exactly the same way as you did too.
Right.
And that's the right way to do it.
Yep.
Very interesting. That was worth the price of admission already. I'm serious.
No, it's amazing what you think you're making. Oh yeah, I can't call there when you have to be calling there. Okay, so folds back around. I was min raised.
I think that that's a 3-bet. I think we have to, even though we could close this out.
I think it's an easy 3-bet,
Okay,
like you say, because especially it's ace queen. I'll 3-bet and I'll fold to the 4-bet.
Right.
But yeah, we want to get an idea where we are, right? And I went.
That's exactly what,
And I went bigger because of the fact that I was out of position. And this guy said, "No, I'm here to play."
right.
So I can fold here. I'm assuming I did. Yeah.
And I have no issue with that either. I think that that's the right. I think that we have to find out where we are with that.
Yep.
Because
especially out of position.
Right.
Okay, we can agree on that one.
Really, that 10-10 was very interesting.
Yeah, that card runner's EV has really helped a lot for calculating those spots. Here again, I think this is a fold. I'm not going to be 3-betting with the king 3.
Nope, I agree.
I'm always waiting for me to say the reasons why never to do something for me to me do it.
But I want to bet that, Dennis, that a couple of weeks ago you would have been playing that.
Oh yeah, like as a call though, not as a raise. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think here? A7 offsuit.
My thought of this is that it's a 3-bet because of the blocker.
Well, it's just not. It's a open. This is just.
I'm sorry. An open for a steal.
Yeah.
I think it's a good steal spot with the blocker.
Yeah, I don't always open this hand, but again, I know it's a small sample. But this guy's folded 3 out of 4 in the big blind, so it's worth giving it a shot, right?
Yeah.
And it worked. This should be a fold.
Easy fold.
Should be an easy fold.
Yeah.
And we'll get some action here. Okay. And what do you think here? We got min raised in front of us. Only 58 hands on the guy, and he's got a 16% raising first. Or pre-flop raise, sorry.
Now, granted, we 3-bet we had this last time.
Yeah.
But we were in a different spot. So technically, if I was playing this, I would just flat it and see it.
I don't ever want to flat with ace queen personally, offsuit especially. For me, I want to raise because the same kind of thing. He's raising in early position. Let's find out where we're at.
Yeah.
I still firmly believe in that. Because I don't want to be like, especially if he's got he folded, but if he's got ace king, I really don't want to be flatting ace king with ace queen. You know what I mean?
I yes, I'm not ignoring you. I'm thinking through of what you're saying and why I am also thinking of. Now, let me ask you a question. Difference on that. If it was ace queen suited, would you flat?
I'd still raise it. I want to narrow the field.
And I understand your concept. I'm thinking it through, and I understand because now if we raise that, and he comes over the top, we know where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ace queen's just such a hard hand to play post flop.
I know. Goes back with my freaking 10s and jacks.
Yeah. What do you think with the queen? Should we raise?
Yeah.
And we get flatted from the big blind. And what do you like here?
We got a lead.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2/3 because I have the flush possibility.
Yeah.
And we've got a fold easily played, I guess. Haven't had too many tough decisions yet. It was a pretty easy tournament to start. I guess I shouldn't say easy, but it wasn't too many rough decisions at the start.
And this was the one that you went out in 8th. Was that it?
Yeah, but there's also, like, I was playing 2 tournaments at the same time.
Yeah.
But we already busted the one. There might have been one more, so there could be a couple hands intertwined from it. But yeah, so we've been 3-bet, raised 3-bet, so now it's a fold. I would have called this guy with 3-4.
I'm okay with that.
With,
I'm okay with calling that guy without the second race. Sure.
Yeah.
If you remember, I was watching when you were playing this live Monday.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to interject too much while you were playing.
Yeah.
But I thought that, and I want you to think about my comment when I say it to you, is that I thought that you ended up when you final tabled, when you were getting on the bubble and then into the final table, I thought that you tightened up way too tight for that short money jump.
Yeah.
The ladder, where I think that you put yourself in that sucky position with the queen 9 that you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Where if you continued your aggressive play that got you to where you might have had a better stack.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple hands that I maybe could have shoved. But I hope we get like further along here and we'll see some of them maybe. But I know what you're saying, yeah. It wasn't so much about the pay jump. It was just I just didn't want to give up. Like I wanted to get it in good, right? Better.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to get it in great. I have to admit that, right? So I raised and got a call. Again, nice dry board. So this time I'd only bet half pot. And he jams all in. I wonder, is this a call?
I don't see how you cannot call.
Yeah, I called here. I think he's got 7-8. If I remember correctly. You always forget. You always remember the harsh ones, right? But again, like so we said, we both said it's how can you not call? But when you think about it, how can we call? What's he doing that with? There's no flush draw, so is he doing that on a straight draw? Or an underpair?
Or ace X?
Ace 7, ace 8, 7-8, 8-8, 7-7. Like there's all these hands that I know that you can't just put them on the nuts every time, but
You think he's shoving with ace 10? What about ace 9?
I don't know.
What about ace 6?
I think those hands call and then see how the turn goes usually. I'm not saying this hand can't be a winner. It definitely didn't turn out to be. I wonder if I can, let's do this. Some of the sites, I haven't tried it with this one with 888, but you can plug the hands right in.
Yeah.
So if I can plug this in from 888, I don't know that I can. No, I can't. I don't want to take the time to play this hand out. It'd be too much to calculate.
Yeah.
But I will mark it for. That's already marked. Yeah. See, that's one of the hands I marked for Alex to look at to say like, should I really be calling here? Who's watching? Should we call here?
Yeah.
Sky, you still there? What do you think? Like I said, it's hard to fold the top pair with a good kicker like that, right? But I mean, I was getting 37%. We could do it Flopzilla. I had ace queen, ace of spades, queen of clubs. So he called in the big blind. So even if we say, I think that's a realistic calling range in the big blind.
Yep.
No, it doesn't even have the hand that he had in it, but I guess we should go wider there. Really.
Well, when you have dead air on my end, I'm not ignoring you. I'm really, this is the crap that I'm learning so much more doing this with you. Is we raise that ace queen. I don't understand how that person out of position now is going to call with 8-7 offsuit pre-flop.
Well, because he's in the big blind, right? So people call wide in the big blind.
I understand that, but he's calling a raise.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. But he's calling a raise. Like I don't think his call's that bad in the big line with 8-7.
Offsuit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, suited, I would call it instantly. 8-7 offsuit. No, it's not as good a call, but you can't expect everybody to play well, right?
Well, that's yes, but that's a little not as well as I would think. And I don't, and I'm seeing this more and more, even with some of the quote unquote good players on Twitch with some of this stuff, and I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
and they lose.
I guess now I'm looking at like I plugged in the flop. Whoops, I didn't do that quite right. Ace 8 of spades, 7 of diamonds. So that flop coming down, even if I do put him on that big wide range, our equity is 78%. We're in best 90% of the time. So 78% equity in the hand. The pot odds we're getting is 37%. So yeah, I think it's a call. Also,
Right.
yeah. So no posse. It was 8-7 offsuit. Oh, maybe it was of hearts. Hang on. Did he show up with hearts? Yeah. Oh yeah, he was suited. Sorry. Yeah, he was suited. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, because we got in the chat, like Sky thinks it's a call, 85 us U-Storm. I also think a call with worse ace X I will fold, but we beat some worse ace X and that he shoves. I'm not sure if players ships their sets here. Yeah, good point. Yeah, the sets might try to there'd be some value hands that wouldn't ship it, right? I mean, it's always once you lose the hand, it's easy to say, "Oh, I shouldn't have called." But yeah, there's too many hands here that can shove there.
Right, and that's why I said that was an easy call right off the bat.
Okay, yeah, okay. I feel a bit better about it now.
I mean, that 8-7, even suited 8-7. I guess I don't have as much a deal with him calling with it suited, but that's really wide, really loose. I know you don't think so.
Well, it was suited, right? So I think that's a typical call by most players. I would call that too. 2.5x. I'm probably calling that.
I agree, but it's just sometimes I wonder about some of this too much. I think.
Okay, so maybe this is more into that other tournament. Yeah, so yeah, for sure. Yeah, Posse's saying too. He calls 8-7 suited there for sure. Oh, sorry, I'm letting the hand run through here. I'm not paying attention to the chat. What happened here? Let's see. Pocket eights. We get a min raise. Now, this is one where I guess you could 3-bet, but I'm more inclined to call these hands.
I would probably just flat call that to close it out with 8-8. And try to set mine. No. I think that flop's very beneficial to us. So what?
See, here's the problem. There was a good flop for us where I'd like to check raise, but then the guy didn't bet. Right? Now I think it's an easy bet. He calls. Would you bet again?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm betting again too because too many aces can call there, right?
Yeah. Because that's what you want to call, that ace.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question, Dennis. Why, when you wanted to check raise that, right? When it was post flop, right there, you said that you won. Why wouldn't you dump that out?
Well, I mean, we could, but I think it's too easy for him to bet into, and it's I think it's a check raising there. He's going to get a lot of folds with the check raise.
Do we want him to fold? I think that I'm asking right now with that 10-10-7 with our pocket eights, what would have happened if we dumped? What do you think?
Right.
If we went out instead of check, I think that we might have lost money on that one.
Yeah, possibly. So I just want Posse saying, so now you call with 888, not ace queen. Your logic was to see where you were. When you want to do the same with 888 or with 88. Yeah, but I think 88 ace
Well, we
queen.
don't,
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
we don't, excuse me, don't with 8-8, don't we have better options that we could, where we also have now the option of set mining, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I think. Well, I think because 88. Would you barrel if he flats the donk bet? Okay. First, let's answer the first. Okay. So 88 ace queen is not a made hand yet, right?
Right. That's in our showdown value is a lot less than 8-8. Do you agree?
Right. So like with 88, I'm willing to see a flop. Like I'm more likely one. Like I'm not worried about being like dominated by like with ace queen. I'm worried about being dominated by ace king.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a good enough reason for it, but that's kind of why. And I've already got a value hand, so I can see how the flop comes in that spot. I'm out of position, and then 85 U Storm said, "Would you barrel if he flats the donk bet?" He's asking you, Rob. So in this hand, you've said to donk bet the 10-10-7. If he calls, are you gonna double? Are you gonna barrel the turn?
If it comes up to 7, just like it did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree. I think once you bet that, you're barreling. I think you're triple barreling at that point.
Well, unless my plan is to triple barrel, unless ace comes up on the river.
Right. Yeah, the ace is kind of the only one that's really scary, right?
That ace, he could be just following along with ace king or ace queen.
Right.
But anything else, I think that I'm going to triple barrel.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if, and again, Posse, I don't know if that's a good enough answer about the eights, but it's the same thing. Like if I 3-bet with the eights and he 4-bets me, now do I want to ship or 5-bet with eights? Not really. And I'd rather be seeing the flop with, like I really want to see the flop with eights, where ace queen out of position, I'd rather 3-bet steal. As opposed to,
I totally agree with you, Dennis. Hey Ryan, think of this. What's the showdown value of 8-8 and the showdown value of ace queen? We still have value with this hand right now because we technically have a made hand. Where with ace queen we didn't.
Yeah, and he's saying if somebody 4-bet, if I 3-bet ace queen and I get 4-bet, yes, I'm folding.
And we did that early, right? Yes, I agree.
Wandles is now following. Thanks, Wandles. Where with eights, like I said, we don't need to get to that point. Let's just see the flop. I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake. I'm not sure, but like I said, I know I'm not. We were talking. Me and Rob were talking before everybody got on, and I feel that one of my leaks is not 3-betting and enough from the small blind, especially, and even from the big blind. But I think sometimes we can be. We don't need to be. Excuse me, we don't need to be 3-betting from the big blind when especially when it's a min raise, we can just call and reevaluate on the flop. And then we've got so many weapons, the check raise, the donk bet, that we can use.
I agree with that, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on. Next hand. 10-6, small blind. That should be, unless it fold. Now, to me now this should be a raise every time. 3x, and then we can fold. But I mean, I think I had someone tell me the other night that they think that in this spot you should be raising 80% of hands. I don't know if that's for sure where I want to be, but I do want to be raising way more than half my hands. Small blind versus big blind.
80%, Jesus Christ.
Well, I just so there's about 80%. There's 79%. So you're raising everything but the absolute trash.
Yes.
Yeah, Wandles, I agree. I think a lot of the appeal of 3-betting from small blind is to end the hand right there. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So 70, that looks big. Let's say 6. Like I'd be better off with this. But I actually, you know what? 80%. I don't. What's wrong with that? I mean, how many people? This guy, like, you start looking at people's stats. All these guys don't have a lot of hands. A lot of people are folding 80% small blind versus big blind raise. Ryan says, I'm not saying your play with the 8-8 is bad. I'm just saying that the logic you used when explained it, I could use the same logic for flatting with the ace-queen.
Well, we can't set mine with that ace-queen.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the problem. You're going to hit top pairs that are going to get you in trouble, right?
Right.
Now explaining the showdown value, that is a better explanation. Good work, Rob. Anyway, so this 10-6 is now a fold. But
Ryan should learn not to argue with me.
That's why you got the microphone, Rob. No, it's great. I want to be questioned, right?
Oh, no, Ryan and I go way back.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I knew I'd recognize the name. I thought it was somebody else, but yeah, that's cool. But anyway, back to that 10-6. I don't think there's anything wrong with raising that 10-6 there. And I look at this 80% range. I'm okay with raising with most of these hands from the small blind. I mean, if you took out the worst of the worst, you're still looking at 75% there. Why not raise those hands? They don't know what you have, right? And they're going to fold. I mean, we're only raising 2.5x to win. You know, we're raising about, it has to work 50% of the time. Most people are raising more than 60 or folding more than 60% of the time. It just depends on what happens after that, right? What comes when they call. What I do now typically is when it folds to me, Rob, in the small blind, I raise 3x every time until the guy shows me that it won't work.
Really?
Well, sometimes you find a guy that will fold it. How often do you actually get folded around to in the small blind? You're only in the small blind once every 10 or 9 hands.
Right.
And how many of those times does it actually get folded to you?
Absolutely, very rarely.
So if you end up trying it 5 times and it works 4 of them, why not keep doing it?
I agree. But I never thought of it that way before. Yeah. What you explained.
Now it might be different in a cash game, but in a tournament, it's just too easy of a steal, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, this guy, let's see, we got a limp and then a raise. So I think that this is, for me, typically this is a fold. Especially now that, like, I don't know, I guess it could be a call. Or a 3-bet. I guess there's an argument for all 3.
I like the fold.
And Sky says, I like that plan. 3x open and in when folded to you in the small blind. Yeah. Yeah, just until they start 3-betting you back, then you can do it with just about anything, right? So anyway, this is a spot where I would typically fold. Again, I was trying to, maybe I end up calling here, but what do you think, Rob?
I like the fold.
Yeah, so I called here, and I think the reason I called here, if I remember back, was kind of what I was saying about somebody told me playing the ace suiteds a little more often early in the tournament. I
don't have an issue with the flat call.
Yeah.
Because we're in position now.
And being on the button, right? It really helps there.
Right. But I probably would fold that.
Yeah, and here's why, right? So that was a waste of chips. Here we got the pocket 6s on the cutoff. Okay, you set mining, 3-betting, folding?
Right now,
100 big blinds deep?
I would just flat that.
Yeah, I like it. And he checks. Now what do you like?
Well, it's very, very wet there with the flush drawer. I'd probably just check back and go to see what we got for showdown.
Well, that's typically been my play, but I've been trying to change it up here. So the way I'm looking at it, and let's just pretend I don't care if I've got 2-3 of hearts here, or whatever, 2-7 of hearts. There's 3 clubs on the board, and he checked.
Yeah.
How often do you like it when somebody bets into you when there's 3 clubs on the board? How often do you think, oh, good, I got him now?
Say that again?
So when you're playing poker and someone bets, there's a monotone board like this,
yeah,
and someone bets, how good do you feel?
I don't feel good.
Right, so why not bet? He already said. He already said he didn't like it. He raised and then he checked on it.
I understand that. I understand, but and this may be one of my issues. If you had the flush here, would you bet?
Yes.
Really?
Especially, yeah, because what if I have the flush and I check, it can make him a 4-card flush. You have to bet your flush here. I think. Like for me, I can't let that value hang. You've got value. Time to get it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't maybe lead into it necessarily every time, but I'm gonna bet it most times.
If I check to the and I have a made flush.
Yes.
If I check. Now, this is my thought plan on this. Now you're going to lead in, and I can get more value. No? Yes?
From the person that checked? You could possibly, yes. Yeah.
If I have the flush and I check, so you don't know that I have the flush, you're gonna say, oh, he missed, you lead in, and now I either could re-raise it,
yep,
or just flat it, and you have no idea. Now my hand's disguised.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm not discounting that, but he's giving me the opportunity to take all the value away by checking back if he does have it too, right? Yeah. I just think it's still too good of a spot to be betting.
Well, I think I want to. So now, what if you lead into that? What if he check raises you?
Oh, then I'm going to fold.
Okay.
But he folded instead. So, I mean, it worked out real well there, right, for my explanation. But I just think when somebody's raised, again, I only have 41 hands on him, so he can't go by C-bet ranges or anything. But when he's showing weakness there by checking. And right. So I'm just going to put a little more pressure on him. And it worked, right? I mean, how am I going to win with my sixes otherwise? Catch the 4-card flush and now really be uncomfortable? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, yes, I do. But now I'm trying to go back to the beginning of the hand.
Okay.
Because I think that this is a very good hand that we can discuss on.
Okay.
He's going to lead into us, right?
He opened, yeah.
3x'd us to open.
Yep.
Now we're going to just flat him.
Yeah.
What do we think that he's opening with?
Well, again, he's got only 10% opening range so far on 41 hands, right? Okay. So he's been fairly tight.
Okay.
I mean, it's still early to be saying, okay, he's raised 3 out of 22 opportunities.
And he's opening from early position.
Right.
With a standard 3x. And it's tight.
But let's even say he is a 10% range. There it is. We've got him dominated.
Okay. All right.
With that. With
that.
He's only got 3 suited connecting possibilities. He's only got 3 flush, 4 combos of flushes if we give him that range.
Okay.
You know? What was it? 9, 5, 4.
Yeah, we're close.
Am I saying that right?
9, 5, 4.
He's only flopped the flush. Yeah, he's only got 2 combos. Why is it only 2?
Okay, but if we're, and this is, I like this hand because it's putting a lot of thought into it. What if we're flatting him? What are we flatting him with?
We're flatting him in his mind. He thinks we're flatting with pairs or suited connectors or big cards.
Right.
So we've hammered this range for flushes. It's very more in, like, I think, and I don't know if I'm wrong in this, but I think that if somebody's observing this hand without seeing our hands, there's a bigger likelihood of us hitting the flush than him hitting the flush on this flop. Our range has more flushes in it than his range does.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
So I think it's just, he was worried about the flush, so he checked. So I bet to tell him, yes, I do have the flush.
Okay. No, I'm not. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand your concept where if I checked back and then another flush hit, another club hit, then I would have screwed myself. Okay.
Well, I'm probably going to barrel the next card too if he checks again.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. You got to really sell your story, right?
Well, I think that if I checked and then he checked back on the turn, I would have barreled no matter what anyways.
So 2.5x raise and a call. You going to call with the ace-5?
You know what? If I'm going to play this, I'm 3-betting.
Yeah. Interesting. I would never think to 3-bet it. Maybe this is one of these spots where it should be. I would call or fold.
If I'm going to play, I'm going to 3-bet that for the sole reason that I have that ace blocker.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be totally out of position because the small blind's in there.
Yep.
And I don't think that excuse me, I don't think that he's going to be that strong, which is the flat call.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So my thought on that, and just hear me out and then give me your point. My thought on that is if I'm in the big blind and I'm facing one or two guys in, and one of them's a small blind. If I have a king or an ace in my hand, I'm going to 3-bet because of the blockers card situation.
Okay.
Do you ever take into consideration blockers?
I do, but not to the degree that I probably should. Yeah, and Sky just said 3-bet or fold the ace-5. Yep. Lean towards fold. He says lean towards folding more for him, but. Yeah, it should. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it should be a call.
And that's what I said. If I'm going to play that hand, I'm going to 3-bet.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean he's opening 20%, so he's pretty. It's probably not a bad idea against him.
Right.
And the other guy's played 70% of hands. He's called versus a 2-bet 5 out of 9 times.
Yeah. So and I'm not telling you that I wouldn't fold, but if I am playing, I'm 3-betting. I'm coming in to take control.
Cool. Okay, so here's an ace-6 of diamonds in the small blind. So again, here, would you be 3-betting or folding? Well, now there's a 4-bet.
I would fold just because of the position of that. Because we're out of position no matter what all the time.
Yep. There's a fold. So skipping these hands. Now, this is below my range. I don't know if I did this out of boredom, but yeah, typically I don't want to. 5s is where I'm like 5s and 6s. I was sending 7s earlier. I've been trying to go down to like 7s, but like when I played live, 7s was my bottom that I would open in first position. I was also playing bigger buy-ins, But here, I think that, this could be debated all day long. A lot of people will open any pair in first position, but what about you?
I am 100% behind exactly what you said. I think that I know what my opening is from early position is 6s. I won't even sniff. That was an automatic fold.
Yeah. And then here in 8, right away we got somebody leading in for a real small. I raised him. The reason I raised him here is because I raised pre-flop and then he bets the minimum into the pot. And I find a lot of guys are doing that just to try and steal it. So I figure why not represent I raised the first position. Why not represent I have a big hand with a small bet still? Now this is where it gets sticky, right? So do I double barrel?
No, I would check back.
Well, I think arguments can be made for both. I raised pre-flop. He called me. He bet. I raised him. Why would I all of a sudden slow down? I know I can slow down, but why not keep firing?
Well,
I did check back, but I'm just trying, and I'm just
Well, and I understand, but here's my thought: is you got crap right now, and we know that we have crap.
yeah.
What did he call and call with?
Well, maybe a flush draw, maybe a 7.
But if he has a 7 and he's calling, he's got us crushed. So the only thing that I agree, we could be giving him a free card for the flush draw,
Yeah.
but that's it, right?
Right.
If he has a pair of anything else on that board, we're crushed.
So you're just checking
Right?
down here.
Yes, I give up.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem of playing these small pairs in early position.
They're exactly get crushed by 5-7.
And you were crushed right from the flop the
Yep.
whole way now.
Yep.
So if you did lead out, he wasn't afraid of that queen before. He's not going to give up on that. He's not smart enough to think he got the queen.
Yep. So here I called again because it was a min raise.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't have with the second caller. Maybe more of a heads up spot.
Yeah.
But again, it's an easy get out of dodge, cheap.
I think that's a definite fold right from the back, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Min raises I tend to call just about any 2 cards in the big blind. But I think that should be for more heads up in later positions, like 5-9. Maybe if the guy's on the button, it's okay to call there.
Yeah.
It's okay to fold too. What do you like here?
We got a 3x, and he's very tight.
Yeah.
I think that, and we got a call on it. I think that it's an easy fold because if we hit anything, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think it should be a fold. It's a fold or a 3-bet, right? And a 3-bet's pushing it, I think.
It's a big fold.
And I went for the 3-bet.
It's a lot more to fold, right? Because if we hit anything, we're screwed.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to see where we end up.
Right, and the reason I did this was again because that the day before I was doing the study and getting the everybody really I wanted to look for some more spots to 3-bet from the small blind. So this was kind of a learning. Let's see how it goes. Right, trying to force myself to get out of my comfort zone.
But hear me out on this just a little bit.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the same with the ace-5, and we got a king with a blocker. But here's my consideration in this thing, is that your opener in this hand is out of position, right? Or middle position. And he's a 13-13.
Well,
so
it's only 15 hands, too.
Oh, okay.
So it's, it's tough, right? But I understand what you're saying, yeah.
So I think that would be my thought process of making it an easier fold is because he's so tight.
I do agree. Just the fact that his position wasn't on the cutoff, like the hijack, they're stealing more, but still.
Right.
And trying to get it through 2 players. But anyway, so I think now, typically when I 3-bet, I almost always c-bet.
Yeah.
Because you've shown strength and you don't want, especially being out of position. And it worked. So I got a nice pot there.
And I don't have an issue with. I agree with the c-bet after the 3-bet. I totally agree with that, but I have read, and I forget where I read it, that sometimes could be a leak.
Well, yeah, typically people continue bet after or c-bet after they've 3-bet, right? It works again at these lower stakes. It works way too well.
Yeah.
It's probably something I'd have to adjust if I move up stakes.
Yeah.
Okay, ace-8 on the button. So do you want a 3-bet or fold? So I'm never calling here.
I'm probably going to fold this.
I'm leaning towards a fold.
Yeah. The ace rag is not good.
I'd want at least ace-10 to be 3-betting there, I think.
Right. Even though we're not on the button, that's a fold.
Yeah. Now, a lot of these are just straightforward folds.
Yeah.
Should be a straightforward fold. So let's see if I played my threes early again. I did. Now again, it's for me when the ace flops and I've raised early position. This just hits my range of opening hands so hard that I feel like I have to bet if I miss it. Like I know people are saying they're checking back top pair, but I think I need to represent top pair here. And again, it's one of these spots. Do you double barrel, or are you starting to worry that he's got the 7 or something that's just going to call down?
Well, I'm worried right now with what he called and what he called with.
Well, I think so. Here's my thing, and I can't remember what I did here, but when people typically, they represent the ace and bet on the flop, they tend to double barrel when they have top pair aces.
Yeah.
So why not double barrel and represent the ace still, and then that's the only way we're going to get rid of him. If I check here, he can so easily bet when he bets on the river, I've got nothing. I've got a pair of threes, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my argument for double barreling.
Again, though, that's where we were in the last time and we lost. What if he calls? Are we going to triple barrel with the threes?
I guess we'd have to see the river, but we might have to. I mean, we don't have to, but I think that was how to win it. Just saying, Wandels, there's no filter. I just this is from Monday night when I played. I finished 8th in a tournament, so me and Rob just were reviewing the tournament. So we're just doing every hand. I'm just skipping over the hands where there's no action. But yeah, like the double barrel, I think is easy. Yeah, you're right. Like I got to be thinking ahead. Do I triple barrel? But I'm almost wondering why not. Like, what's he calling down with?
Well, I understand that concept, but I think that you really step on yourself when you open with threes from that position.
Yeah, and like Sky says, I think you double barrel and done here. And yeah, I can see that too. But again, you're right, Rob. You pointed out the big thing. This is why we shouldn't be opening threes early position because you get into these spots, right?
Yeah, I mean, granted, you won and you got a good stack on a good pot on that, but I think that you really step on yourself because now, if I was in that hand and I had the ace and I was out of position, I would check you.
Right.
And I had the ace, and then knowing that your range, that would hit your range, and you would think, just what you said, and that, granted, I play cash, we play tournament, but just what you said is, if I had an ace, wouldn't I lead out, right?
Yes.
And if I don't lead out, you're going to say, well, he doesn't have the ace, so I'm going to lead out, and I have the ace.
Right.
And now when it comes up to the turn, which now it's the 2 of clubs, now when I lead out, you're going to say, well, we know he doesn't have the ace, then I'm ahead, and I win that money.
Right.
And I do have the ace, because I slowed it, and it's not slow playing it, but I hit it on the flop.
But I also think, too, I think a lot of ace rags can fold to this bet on the turn. I think ace rags they'll call the first bet, and then when the turn comes and I fire again, then they start to think, oh, he's got the ace, right? Like he's got the better ace. I think that's where if you're going to fold an ace out, that's how it's going to happen.
Yes, I agree.
So, but again, the fact that I'm holding threes doesn't matter because we're just representing a hand. But that's, again, like you said, this isn't going to work enough with threes, right?
No.
Like if I'm opening that wide that I'm opening threes, they're never going to believe me that I have an ace every time.
Correct.
So that's a good reason to be folding threes. Pre-flop. Again, Jack 10 offsuit. I'm not opening that. It's not suited. It's not getting played in first position.
I think the small pocket pairs out of position that you need to fold because you're not even in good position to set money.
Right.
Because you don't know who's got the bigger pot to set money with.
So again, now it's an easy raise, right? The odd time we get to do this.
Yep.
And I'm just betting no matter what I have there. 2/3 pot. Put the pressure on.
Yep.
It's actually a really nice flop for it. He calls. Now what? I know what I like, but what do you like?
I'm liking double barrel.
Yeah, even might triple barrel if we have to, right?
Yep.
But I checked it. Silliness. So I cost myself, right?
Yep.
Because I could have got another street and then that ace. That's the mistakes I'm making. Oh, his range should have a lot of queens and weak aces that call one street. I like the double barrel. That's from 85 U-Storm. Yeah, the comments. I hope there's not a big delay on our stream, but yeah, no, that's exactly the point I was trying to make too. Like, there's going to be hands that can fold to a double barrel, but if I don't, I'm gonna give him the hand on the river, letting him see the river. Okay, next hand. It should be a fold. So this is one I raised because, like I said, had someone talking to me about ranging, that I was ranging too tight early, and this was kind of the bottom of the range. I believe he said to open early position, so I thought I'd just give it a shot. I hated. I just felt so uncomfortable, but I did it. But I hit top pair, so it ended up working. I don't think there's. Sorry, what's that?
I'd be uncomfortable too.
Yeah. I don't think there's much to discuss with that hand. It was pretty straightforward, right? Raise, hit top pair, bet when he folds. That should be a fold. Fold. Now here's the one where, like I say, if it's a min raise, I would call this every time.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a call, but I have a funny feeling that I did call. So now it should be a give up, right?
Yep. So just give up from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the kind of hand that used to always get me in trouble, right?
Yep.
This should be a fold. I don't even think this should be considered a 3-bet, but I think it should be a fold. But I have a funny feeling I might have called. Yeah. So now we get the 4-way pot with top pair. So what do you like here? Now that we've put ourselves in this bad spot.
Huh. I'm going to lead out on this.
Yeah.
With the top pair and a good kicker.
I think it's a 2/3 donk lead, right?
Yep.
I mean, I know the top pair might not stay top pair, but if we're going to win this hand, I think that's the way to do it. I don't really want to be check calling.
Right.
And got pushed off the hand. So I just got to cut those silly hands out. They're bleeding me.
Uh-huh.
Wonder if I called here. Yeah, see, I have a hard time folding these. I'm looking for a bingo, right?
Yeah, that's easy fold.
Yeah. So it's 3x call. What do you think?
I fold.
I fold or 3-bet. I'm not calling. I like it. I like a 3-bet here, I guess, like as a squeeze, but it's not a call.
Right.
So I 3-bet. I got 4-bet all in. 75 big blinds versus my 67. So this should be a fold. Yeah. Fives in the small blind. So here's where I get, like, okay, well, this guy went crazy, but this is where I get the spots where do you set mine in the small blind or do you 3-bet?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, like, well, yeah, like typically would you, like if say this guy didn't shove here, say this guy just min raised, would you call in the small blind there or would you raise?
Yes. No, I call.
Yeah.
And that with the whole purpose of set mining or
Yeah.
out.
Right.
In that scenario, that's exactly what I would have done. Because I think that if we hit the 5, we could get all his chips. So instead of 3-betting it and trying to win it right there, we want to get all his chips. So we would have to call and quit if we. Make sense?
Yeah. Have I noticed their bet sizing tells? No, I haven't. You Storm, what is there a bet sizing tell we're missing here? I haven't noticed. I didn't know. Is there someone in particular that you've noticed that with?
I haven't noticed either.
We'll see if he says anything back. I'm going to type to make sure in case. What do you like here, Rob?
This goes to one of my. I would flat this.
He says he's 3xing for value and he shipped your squeeze. Huh, interesting. He has min raised twice now after that. Huh. Oh, he's 3xing open for, okay. Okay, so he's I guess he's talking about this guy. He's min raising, but he's 3xing it when he's got a value hand. Interesting. No, I didn't even notice that. I'm gonna pay attention to that now. Sorry, Rob. What did you say about what you liked here?
I'm flatting that.
Okay, I'm not flatting with this 10-9 suited. I'm willing to flat it, but because it's a gap, I think this is a better 3-bet hand.
Yeah.
This is my 3-bet bluffing hand.
Yep.
So I did the 2.5 and he folded. Well, there you go. Maybe it is a sizing tell because, like he said, he min raised it. I 3-bet he folded. Very observant.
Who picked that up?
85 U Storm. We should be getting into the. It's got this hanging on stack here. I think we're still skipping tournament to tournament, maybe too. Okay, so King Jack suited. This should be, I would, especially with this shorter stack on this guy because he's likely to 4-bet shove.
Mm-hmm.
John from Facebook group. John. Which Facebook group and which John? How many Johns are there? Sorry, John. Cool though. Thanks for coming out and thanks for your observations. But yeah, I don't think King Jack suited is a flatting hand, especially to an early position raise. Could be a 3-bet, but I think it's better to fold in that spot. Would have won. Should have raised. Here we go. Your favorite hand again, Rob.
Yeah.
So again, easy 2.5x raise, right?
Yep.
And everybody folds. Oh, John Blank, cool man. Thanks for coming, John. John's always got really. I don't know if you know John Blank from the Smart Poker Study group.
Nope.
He's always well. If you see him type something, I would read it if I were you. Well, seriously, he's always got really good stuff. Like I've said things and then thought I was sure about it, and then once he's commented on it, he really gets me thinking about it. He's one of the guys that was one of the first ones in the Facebook group, I think, too. I don't know if he remembers that, too, how far back that was, but it's gotten pretty big. This guy's done a really good job with it.
Yeah, I was one of the first ones, too.
I think this should be a fold.
Yeah.
I can't say that I did, but it should be. I called for some reason. I think it's a check. Pretty much a check fold. Now, do we go after it?
Yep.
Yeah. Even Sky says, yep, he knows his stuff for faux show. Talking about John. So I think, yeah, we got to go after it now with 2 pair.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, yeah, he says Rob's been in there quite some time, too. Yeah. We're talking about the group. How many people are in the group, Sky? Do you know? It's got to be hundreds.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
And like at New Year last year, there was like 5. Okay, pocket queen. So obviously we're going to raise. And we get 3-bet. We got 44 big blinds. They've got 33. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think is that I think that right now we got to push in.
Yeah. John, the reason it's, the blinds are jumping back and forth because I had 2 tournaments going. So we just went by date. We didn't filter it just for the tournament. So there was a couple going on. Sorry about that. Yeah, 715 poker peeps in the group, Sky says.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to ship here because I'm out of position.
Yep.
And he's shown some strength. And it's not like, what am I going to do, raise to 1,500? He's going to go all in anyway, so might as well just ship it.
Yep.
And he folds. This should be a fold.
You make me nervous on some of that.
Yeah, so this one's gone back to another tournament. It's going 30-60 to 7 or to 125, 250 blinds. Jack 6, King 8. Okay. Okay, so this is much more likely a 3-bet than the last time, right? This is that guy that John Blank was saying is they had the bet sizing tell on. So knowing that tell, this should be a 3-bet. Because he was min raising just to open, but he's value raising with 3x.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's a raise or a fold. We get 2 calls, top pair. Now betting into multi-way pot always sucks, but when we got value, I think we need to do it. So we bet half, and we take it. Yeah. So again, I can make the same argument on this guy because he's either calling or folding every time. So we might as well 3-bet here as opposed to a call, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good 3-betting hand.
And he jams. I think it should be a fold.
It is a fold.
Like a 3-bet here?
We fold this one.
Yeah. You thought I was going to call there, didn't you?
You make me nervous.
So this is one of these small blind hands that I don't want to 3-bet, especially now that another caller. I'm going to call here for the set mine. And it should be over with now.
Now, was that your plan, or when you thought about that plan, multiple pot to something?
That I was just set mining?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
With a small pair, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna try and get fancy. Try and get cute there. And this is always a fold for me. This hand is always so pretty. So what do you like here? I think there's 3 plays you can make here.
Yeah.
Really, right? I mean, this guy's opening 20%. I know it's only 24 hands, so that's not a great sample to use. We can 3-bet here. We can call or we can fold. I think call is probably the best.
I like call for right now. Yes.
I don't mind being multi-way with this one.
No.
Now, do you ever call here? That's a big bet.
We're up. Yeah, we're out.
No, I called. Now, and I remember I called because what hands does he have that just hit? And I might have been getting a little outrageous here making the call, but all I could think when he bet there was he raised, and then he bets into a 2-3-5 board. Now, maybe my mistake is the fact that it's multi-weight and I should have got away, and maybe heads up it might be an okay call with position.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my reasoning. I'm not saying it's right, but that's why I did that.
But hold off though. You're saying what hands could he have had?
Okay.
That 2-3-5, right?
When he bets into that, he's betting 2/3 pot.
Yeah.
To me, that, or maybe, to me, that means he doesn't want to call.
I understand that. I agree with that. But his might. So what do you think that he opened to us? So, right? He opened.
Yes.
So what did he open with?
I'm thinking two big cards, like maybe Ace King, Ace Queen.
What about 9-9?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely could be. But if he opens 9-9 and I hit a 10 or a jack, I've got him. And I've got the backdoor flush possibility. I know it's not big, but that was the reasoning why I called him. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's why I did call him.
Okay.
Looking at it now, I would say this is a fold, right? Like I know that we know he probably doesn't have that, but there's another guy behind us still.
Yeah.
And he called, and now what do you think? He jams all in. What's he got?
To be honest with you, I don't care. I'm out.
Yeah, it should be a fold.
Yeah, because he 8-8, 9-9, 7-7 that he doesn't want anybody in there with, and he's still ahead of everybody.
But let me tell you something, Rob. I knew, like right here, I can see it again. I know if a spade is going to hit. I had a feeling. It was just such a horrible play. I'm trying to remember what my thought process. I remember being like frustrated at this point for some reason, and I made the call, and it's ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
I knew the spade was going to hit though.
Now, that would have been probably one of the only hands that I didn't put him on, because that's why I didn't say Jack or 10-10, because we had a blocker on there.
Right.
But they were certainly in play the way that went.
Yeah.
Same as nines.
But yeah, that was stupid. I played that hand bad. Right? I played the hand fine pre-flop. Once the flop came, I played the hand wrong.
Yes.
I know that much. That's not a typical play you'll ever see me do. You've seen me play enough, but
sometimes you got to get lucky.
And like Wandel says, pro fish on the 10-jack suited call. Yeah, I'm a fish, man. My name's Pro Fish, right?
Sometimes you got to get lucky.
Yeah, not like that. I don't want to get lucky like that. I mean, I'll take it, but. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. You know I'm calling here, Rob. So, I think the fact that I called now, I got middle pair. Again, his C-bet's only 57. It's only 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can really say, oh, I knew he's C-bet too much, but he was raising 24%, but he's opening pretty wide still. 20 out of 84 opportunities. He's C-betting over half the time, which is 57 is a pretty good number actually compared to mine at 82. He's more balanced, right?
Yeah.
But I think my hand's good enough to call here. Now what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm going to lead out to this and show that I don't think that he's just playing that as a flush draw. So I think that we have, with the backdoor flush in second pair, I think that we lead out.
Yeah, I think we can lead out. Either it's a lead out or it's a check raise all in, right?
I like the lead out better than the check raise.
Yeah, and I checked, and I caught a flush on the river, which actually I would rather not have caught, right?
Right.
But I still, because like you said, I just don't think he's on the flush. I bet into him and take it down. Very lucky again, 2 hands in a row. Okay, I'm going to play good from the rest of the tournament, I promise. No more fishing. So this should be a fold, right?
Yep.
I just want to make sure I did. I had to have. Yeah. You think the fives? I mean, you said the fives are the bottom of your range, right?
Right.
So here's another spot where I get, like, okay, if this guy didn't get in here, then I think this is it's a fold, because he's 2.5xing my 3 blind, or more than, right, or my open. He's almost 3x'd it, so I should be folding. But with this guy getting all in and capping it, like now they can't be re-raised, right?
Right.
So I think it's worth the set mine. And we miss, so we're just going to give up. I think he wakes up with a big hand. Yeah, nines. He flopped a set. This should be a fold.
I would have probably folded them fives because I don't think that you had enough equity in either hand to set mine.
Well, I mean, it might not have been the right equity, but the fact that the action was closed, that he couldn't, you know what I mean, and there was the dead money.
But if you hit your set, the guy that originally went in,
yeah, it wasn't quite 10-1.
Right. That's it. It was not 10-1. So you would have, even if you hit your set, you wouldn't have been making enough money to play it. So you should have folded.
Right.
Now, I have that when you talk about set money, you've never brought that up. The stack to pot ratio.
Oh yeah.
You've never brought it up, and I was testing you on, especially on that one, to see if, so you understand it, but you should have folded that because your stack to pot ratio wasn't big enough.
Right, like I said, I was just looking at the dead money, and yeah, you're right.
Right, but the dead money wasn't worth it.
No, you're right. I get what you're saying. That should be a fold. Okay, maybe this will be a little more interesting. So he's almost 3x'd it. Do you 3-bet or do you call?
Well, I want you to, I know what I would do, but I want you to think about this because obviously you played in this tournament. If you 3x this, right, or if you 3-bet this, what are you going to put it at? What's your 3-bet going to be?
At least 600.
Yeah. So 600, that's going to put him to 18. So why don't we push him all in right now? Right? He's going to be committed if we 3-bet and he calls.
Yeah, but don't we want him to call with worse hands?
I think that no matter what. So if we 3-bet him, right?
I just think that if we shove, it looks too bluffy. Like, that's my problem with shoving an 82. Like, so if I shove all in, I think he's going to call better. If that makes sense, he's going to call more correctly because he's going to call with his middle pairs or his hands that could have, like, like where if I three bet him as I typically do, I'm still disguising my hand and it looks stronger.
But
Do you know what I mean?
I do. But what?
I mean, with you saying shove, I mean that takes away all the play of the hand, right? I mean, we're shoving. He's got 40 big blinds. That's a big shove.
But I agree. But if we three bet here, aren't we making him pot committed? If he calls our three bet,
no. If he was at 1,800, if I bet to let's see what I bet to. So if he calls 600,
he's down to 23.
Yeah, he's not pot committed yet.
Okay.
30% is kind of the rough rule, right?
Yeah.
So if he had 1,800 back, then I might as well shove.
Okay.
I think. At least that's my thinking, how I look at that. And he just called. So, I mean, again, this is the where your argument comes in that it's good to shove because this flop isn't great for us.
Right.
But I don't. Again, with my three bet, I tend to lead once I've three bet, and there's why because too many people just fold. If he's got ace king, ace queen, king jack, king queen, any of those types of hands or those smaller pairs, then we've got him, right?
Yeah.
Oh. I love this, man. Time flies, eh? What time do we start?
Oh, Jesus, we've been doing it for longer than 2 hours.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it. That should be a fold. No. Okay, to me this is a no-brainer call.
Yeah.
I don't want to lead gut shots, not with flush draws and to the bottom end of the draw, right?
Yeah.
And he checks. So now what? Do you want to take a shot now that he checked? I think it's a check back most times.
So you're giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely not calling the river bet.
What if we raise the river bet?
I don't have the parts for that.
Really?
I just don't think it was worth it. I mean,
I want you to just think of this, okay?
what are we raising with?
What is he betting with? That 2 didn't help him. Right? That 2 didn't help anything.
He could be betting a jack. He could be betting all
But
this.
why wouldn't he have bet the jack on the turn? Wouldn't he have bet the jack on the turn?
Maybe he's afraid of the flush. But yeah, then why is he betting it on the river? Yeah.
So what if we raised him now?
I think we have to put them all in.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's worth it. For 1,000 chips, maybe if he was deeper, stacked, I don't think it's going to work enough.
I bet you it works a lot more than you would
Probably.
believe.
Yeah, the check raise river after nothing happens the whole way down just hasn't been in my repertoire.
Look that up sometime.
Yeah. No, I think I can see that. I see what you're saying. I definitely get the merit of it. And three bet because it's never going to call with that, and he folds. Do you think that was too wide?
No, I have no issue with that at all.
Especially coming from the cutoff, right?
Yeah. 0.
I didn't want to call there, right? I just wanted to steal.
Yeah. No, right.
Now, I think we can call this. I mean, I think you can 3-bet it. I don't want to 3-bet it. I would just call.
Well, stop.
And I see what you're saying again. So we're getting 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, oh, 13 to 1, right?
Yeah, so that's okay. But I want you to go back just your thought process. If we 3-bet this, what are we 3-betting? What are we 3-betting? Are we just making our hand a bluff? Is that what you want to do with the 5s?
No, I don't want. Like I was saying, like I think
Doesn't
what I'm
have
saying
to
is
go.
I think you can 3-bet with 5s, but I don't 3-bet with 5s because of what you're just kind of saying. Like I want to see a flop. I want to hit a 5 and take somebody's stack.
But if we do 3-bet with 5s,
Right.
if when you're saying, don't we just turn our 5s into a bluff?
I guess that's what you're doing, yeah. Because if he jams, I'm not calling.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're better off calling no matter what than 3-betting.
Yes.
I don't think that's unless you're because when we 3-bet, right, we have to ask ourselves, what are we 3-betting for? Are we 3-betting for value or are we 3-bet bluffing? Do you agree with that?
Yep.
When we 3-bet with 5s, we certainly are not 3-betting for value. You agree?
Right.
So we're turning our 5s into a bluff. Wouldn't it be better just to flat call and see if we can get a set mine?
Yes.
Right?
Yep. For sure.
Just think of that thought process.
No, I definitely agree. That's my whole reasoning of why I never do it. And then there's why. So when we hit our bingo, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm going to bet. I'm just salivating now with the 2 callers. I'm going to bet again, obviously. I bet a little bit bigger this time because it is a pretty wet board now, right?
Yeah.
And he shoved on me, and I'm not even going to think about it. Pocket 10s on the king he shoved. Nice. But again, see, like you said, if I 3-bet there, he was 4-betting all in.
Yeah. And then what would you have done?
Folded.
Right.
Okay, so for me, this is a 3-bet or a fold.
Yep.
So here's the sticky part of why I like it. King Jack is such a troubling hand. So I'm gonna obviously bet my top pair, and he jams. So is this the same as Ace Queen? Is it a call? Could he have raised called with Ace King, King Queen? Obviously he could, right? But there's so many other hands. Like there's the flush draw, the straight draw. Like it's how do I fold this?
Yeah.
And guess what he has?
King Queen.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't just assume he has the one hand, right? Like, I mean, he could have had the flush draws.
Right.
Could have had a pair of queens or jacks, even maybe. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. So I'm. I hate King Jack.
Then why didn't you fold it?
I know I should have just folded it, especially with him raising. But he didn't have the rate. Whatever. So now we're into the 7 big blind stack. I just shoved here, I think. Finding 5 big blinds. Okay, so now we're just into one tournament, I think. Yeah, so this is when we're at 12,000 chips. This is a raise, and I called it. And I can't remember if that's a misclick, but that is not a hand that I call with. A suited gapper in early position.
Yeah, that's not a good call. Knowing you, you probably won.
No, I'm not calling the all-ins. But I do have misclicks now and again still. I do, like, not trying to make excuses, but I got to get better at not having that happen. Okay, so what do you like here? Small blind versus big blind. He raised me. Can I call or can I 3-bet?
Well, I think that I don't think that you can call.
Why not?
Because I don't like that. I think that you either fold or 3-bet.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I think you're right. I should have just 3-bet it, but I did not. And again, here I guess I can. Is there anything wrong with calling with top pair and letting the guy hang himself, or does it need to be a raise? Like so many people just check, like they'll just keep betting into you, right?
Yes, but no.
See ya, Sky. Sky just said he's taking off. Sorry, but yeah, like a raise is probably.
If we just let him hang himself, are we getting all the value that we can out of this?
Well, we got a top pair and a straight draw.
Yeah.
So in this case, yeah, I don't think a raise would have helped because he's bailing on the. Now we can bet, right?
Yeah.
So it's one. I don't know. Maybe a raise is better on the flop, but
I think that if we raised, we might have got more money out of that.
I just feel like so many people are double and triple barreling out of the small blind for like trying to have a pissing for distance contest, right?
Yeah.
So let him. That's why I was thinking just let him hang himself. Because if he's betting with ace high, as long as an ace doesn't hit, and he gives me 3 streets from just calling, and maybe raise on the river. I don't know. I think an argument can be made for both.
No, I understand that concept, Dennis. But my thought is that we leave money on the table. If we raised, right?
Would he have called?
What if we just min raised it and made it look like we were just trying to steal with a min raise? I think that he would have called at least that, and we would have got a little bit more, and then he folded when we let him.
Right. Yeah. Again, you're right though. I should have 3-bet pre-flop. Like I misplayed that hand. Yeah. With King 10, what worse hand would call a flop raise? Yeah, and that's the Wandel's the same. With King 10, what worse hand would call a flop raise? Not many, right?
Right.
So if we raise, we're forcing him to fold weaker hands where he might bet those hands again on the turn.
Okay.
You know, I think that's what my thinking is. I think that might be what Wandel's is getting at.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay, so this is a fold, the 6-5.
I'm going to have to take off here pretty soon, too, because I have to eat supper.
Okay. Do a couple more. Let's look for one more hand that we can discuss here then. How's that sound?
Oh, sure.
It's not going to... Oh, here, how about this? We'll end with kings. Okay, so obviously a raise, right?
Yeah.
And I always do my 2.5x, but once there's a limper, I go 4x.
Yeah.
And it folds around, and he calls. Okay. And this guy was raising... Oh, it's only 8 hands. Never mind. We're not going to use the HUD against him. Pretty simple bet.
Yeah.
And I bet 2/3 because of the flush draw, and there's no way I can fold here.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't... I mean, if he caught a 6, good for him, right?
Yeah.
What do you think he's got?
I think that he has ace queen.
You're halfway there. I remember this one. Oh, 4s. I thought it was queens. So he shoved it with 4s.
Not very bright.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, yeah, if you got a fly, that's cool. That was good. Another good We got a couple hours in.
Yeah, we did 2 hours. That's pretty good.
You want to try again for next Tuesday or Wednesday, or you got Christmas stuff going on after Christmas, or are you done at?
I don't do any of that stuff, but all set.
Awesome.
So I'm okay next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Cool.
All right.
All right, cool. Yeah, and whoever's watching, the guy who's on there still, Wandles, and I don't know if John's still there or who else is, but thanks a lot, guys. Any of you guys want to get on here and study with me sometime and do a stream too? Want to show me something? Let me know. We'll set it up. Or if you don't want to do it on the stream, if you just want to do a one-on-one or jump on with me and Rob sometime, a different time, let us know. And I guess that's it. Thanks again, Rob.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good Christmas. I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good one.
All right, buddy.
Bye.